Hey friends, welcome back. Today I am tackling a continuation of the to-do list from Elias. And I've got a couple of major things that I'm going to be working on today. And those are the dahlias and my hydrangeas. All right, this is actually going to be tricky. This is going to be like a little bit of surgery. I need to move the oakleaf hydrangeas that are in the back. They are performing so beautifully, but I've got to dig them in because they are currently in the way. So we're going to move them and heal them in. So I'll talk through that process when I do it. The trickier thing actually is my dahlias. So as you know, I've got dahlias in the cut flower garden. However, you are not supposed to dig and move them until the first killing frost. And for us, that is actually probably out in mid-November. So I got to figure out what to do. So here's the plan. The plan is I'm going to dig up as many dahlias as I can and shove them into my veggie bed behind me. All right. I expect my dahlias to freak. I expect them to lose their dang mind when I transplant them. But it's okay because all I need to do is limp them along until the frost kills the foliage, and then I can dig them and store them and get them ready for the year ahead. Now, the other thing I've got to do with these dahlias is we have gotten just hit by the most mammoth case of powdery mildew. And one of you commented that you had used a home solution really successfully. And basically you take 1 part milk and 2 to 3 parts water and you spray it down. So after I get these things moved, I'm going to give them a full treatment and we're going to cross our fingers. And by the way, stay tuned to the end because I will walk you through a little project update, things that the crew has gotten accomplished. I also did some shopping and my new greenhouse floor has arrived. So I'll show that off to you. But in the interim, let's get back in the garden because I want to walk you through. This might be like the one and only dahlia tour that I do this season. And so let's jump down there and I'm going to show you some of my favorites. First on the list is this cutie. This is KA's Mocha Maya. And this one actually has a slight bit of yellow to it, but this, if you're looking for a true buff dahlia, this is it. Let me actually take you over here and show you this little guy. Yeah, so as these mature, they become really buff, really dreamy. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a super mini Café au lait. So a really, really good selection. Next on the list is Fuzzy Wuzzy. This was from one of you lovely subscribers. It is so adorable. Do you see that little edge? I think it is such a great, interesting shape. Very compact, very small and adorable. And this was actually one of the first ones to bloom in the garden. So a very, very fun one. So if you like bright colors, this is very much like a bright magenta and then a very baby pink little serrated petal edge. Okay, these next two I want to show you back to back. This is a dahlia called Silver Years. This one is aging out a little bit. But then here is this gorgeous one right here. Silver Years is very much a cool toned pink, a little bit of yellow in the center. I grew 2 of these, really robust plant. They have been blooming their little heads off. But what's interesting is I put it right next to a dahlia called Sweet Natalie. And I feel like for me, Sweet Natalie wins out. And I will show that to you and explain exactly why. So here she is. This is Sweet Natalie. Oh my gosh, you guys, I am obsessed, and I do mean obsessed. There is a subtleness to this pink. Almost, it gives it less of that baby pink and more of a smokiness to the pink that I think is absolutely sensational. I like the form better. I like how sturdy it is. I feel like these stems are really, really strong. So if you are at all debating between Silver Years and Sweet Natalie, for me, if you are into more of a dreamy, smoky tone, Sweet Natalie is it all day, every day. If you like more of that bright, kind of like pastel-y, cool toned pink, Silver Years is for you. All right, this next one, we just had a giant rain last night, so all of my dahlias are super floppy, but this is Pineland's Princess. This one is so fun. It is super, super twirly and very serrated to the petal. I will say that this one I may give away. I don't know if it's my cup of tea, but it certainly has been a really fun one to experiment with in the garden. Next up, we have Cocoa Puff. Okay, I hope this gives you a little idea of the size. It is so stinking adorable. As per usual, it's fall, so we've got a spider in the background, but this one for me is a must grow. It's compact, it's bushy. I feel like this almost could be a candidate for a landscape dahlia, but it's this beautiful little smoky mauve. In the cool weather that we're starting to get, I almost feel like there's a slight peachiness that is emerging. So again, really beautiful, more compact, has bloomed its little head off, and I feel like this could also be a candidate for casual beds. Okay, friends, here we are. Despite this bed in particular being completely smothered in powdery mildew, Chewy does not disappoint. Chewy is a favorite. I actually have grown it in years past, and it died off when I kind of neglected my cut flower garden for those couple years, but it is the best. I love an orange dahlia, except you get this deep purple right here at the throat and very upright, very sturdy stems. I mean, it is just the best. Brian and I voted, and this one was just one of our top picks for this growing season. All right, next up we have Foxy Lady. You guys, this one was another one of the first ones to bloom, and it is awesome. Okay, if you want, I feel like this rides the line of being a very happy, colorful dahlia without being obnoxious. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone else. There's a slight yellow in the middle of each petal, and then the edge is like this deep, yummy raspberry. And also, you can kind of see by my hand, not a massive dahlia, maybe 3 inches across, but a really, really good performer. So a very fun one. And this is also a subscriber gift, and she was saying that it's an awesome tuber producer. So I am very excited to see what's going on under the ground when I dig this out today. Next up in this row is Cozy Town Baby Cakes. This has been a top dahlia for me this year. It is kind of everything I want. I really love these nice round ball style dahlias. This one is just north, I would say north of 3 inches. Really great coloration. This I find is about as yellow as I really want my dahlias to be. Really great blush to it. I mean, honestly, this one was a top favorite. I would say in this row, honestly, my favorites are Chewy, this little guy, Cozy Town Baby Cakes, and Cocoa Puff, and Sweet Natalie. Those are my 4 top favorites in this I would say this northeast bed. Oh my gosh. You guys, this one is just a new favorite. It's a new favorite. I love it. I'd never heard of it, and here she is. So good. Last dahlia in this row. This is Poodle Skirt. And you know, I really like Poodle Skirt, but for me, it really did not perform. And this year for me, I just felt like I was constantly deadheading it. So I think Poodle Skirt, it may be on the donation list. So if I run out of room in my upper garden beds, I'll put this one in a pot, but I'm not going to baby it along like I will the others. Gosh, it's cute, but I just didn't reach for it as much this year. Starting with some of my whites, this one was a gift from my neighbor, Marilyn, about, gosh, maybe a year before she passed away. I call it Marilyn's White. It's a no-name variety. I think it might actually be Landcress. If anyone wants to take a stab at which white this is, I am all for it. Leave it down in the comments because I've never put in the mileage to track down this variety. I just call it Marilyn's White because it's from a dear sweet neighbor who I really miss a lot. She was a great garden friend. We used to just talk over the fence line, and it was just one of those people that I really miss in my life. But this will always have a spot in my garden. And funny enough, the surrounding dahlias are so covered in powdery mildew, and this one is just like carrying on like nothing ever happened. Okay, this one is another white. You guys, I've got so many bugs right now in this garden. But this one I had gotten in a Costco pack, and I think it's mislabeled. It's supposed to be Suki something, and it is not it. It's supposed to have this really serrated petal edge, and that is not what I received. I mean, I'm not mad at it, but I don't know if it is going to have a place in future gardens for me. It is really only now coming into bloom. This one did, it's just performed okay. It's not like a giant winner for me. It's just okay. Next up is Skipley Moonglow. This one has bloomed its little head off this season. Adorable, very soft lemony yellow. And I do mean very soft. I am not one for bright yellow dahlias. They're just not my cup of tea. I've grown Golden Celebration, but it just didn't do it for me. This I would say is probably the one I would grow. I have one other yellow that I will show you, but I almost prefer this one. It also really looks good with Cozy Town baby cakes. I wish I had a better bloom for you, but this one is Ferncliff Spice. And this one I would say is a much stronger yellow. I do have just the bud of one here, and you can see where it just has that slight coloration on it. So unfortunately, I don't have a very good example for you right now. I'm kind of between flushes, but this one is just an okay one for me. If you like yellow, this may be a way to go, but I think it was just okay for me. Next up is one that has not bloomed out yet. I ended up cutting this one back super late, but it is covered in buds now. This is Brown Sugar. I will show you, this is one I'm going to gingerly transplant up to the front beds, but this is a top performer for me. I love it. It's a very strong orange, and I feel like Brown Sugar is one of those ones that I will always have a place in my garden for. And this I actually love for fall. It is, like I said, very strong orange, almost like a burnt orange, if you will. Really, really great dahlia and nice, firm, round ball. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Next on the list is Bracken Palomino. This one is actually way more yellow than I thought it would be. I would say this is on the verge between yellow and orange. In the back here, let's see if I can get a close up on this. You get some really nice apricot dusting. This has been another very strong performer, really strong stems, and another one I will be very gingerly transplanting to my front garden beds. Here's another shot of the Bracken Palomino in more of the bud stage. And I feel like it almost comes out a stronger apricot and then fades to more of that yellow center. I could be wrong, but that's just what I'm experiencing with this particular plant. I'm kind of curious if anybody else has had that experience growing Bracken Palomino. These next, I want to do a little side by side. On my right here, this is Beehive, and on my left is Cornell. Beehive, I feel like has a bit of a tighter coil to its petals when it's flushing out, whereas Cornell is a bit more consistent. Cornell also has a bit more of a deeper orange, a little bit more smokiness to it, whereas Beehive is more of a clear orange. One other thing I'm noticing about these, they're about the same size, but there's a lot more inconsistency with Beehive as it flushes out. I feel like with Cornell, I'm going to let Beehive go for a sec. I feel like with Cornell, you just know what you're going to get. Like that's Cornell. Boom. Going over here. That's Cornell. Boom. Here we are. Cornell. Boom. It's just super duper consistent. Whereas like this one here, this is also Beehive. Isn't that so funny? It's so much more yellow. Also, the other thing I'm noticing is sometimes I'm getting like real wonky petal patterns. Sorry about the mixed sun conditions here. But in any event, I do like both of them, but I feel like if you're looking for consistency, Cornell is going to be, I would say, your best match for that consistent orange round ball. Last one in my orange row here is High Suntan. I really like this one. This isn't even more of a true orange. Again, amazing ball size. I feel like I don't need all three of these. Do I want to keep all three? Of course I do. but I feel like Cornell and High Suntan I prefer over Beehive. That's just my opinion. I would love to know your experience. But this High Suntan, it's a bit more of a true bright orange, but again, really consistent, great ball shape, great stem strength as well. I am in between flushes here. I actually did a hard cut back knowing that I needed to move some things. And so not everybody is flushed out right now, but what I will tell you is this little baby is again top of list. This is Rock Run Ashley. It is, it just is stunning. It's very smoky, it's peachy, it's a great pink, a very, very warm toned pink. Very slight hint of yellow as our petals get towards the center, but just a very consistent ball shape as well. And I do feel like as it matures, it fades a little bit, which is really nice. And then also, I don't know if you can see this, but there is a lot of opalescence to the petal. So again, Rock Run Ashley, she is a favorite of all time. Next up is a section of a lot of my big kahunas. And some of these things I've grown before. I know what to expect. Some of them I didn't, and I didn't think I'd like them. But guess what? I love them. Okay, first things first. I'm just going to show you this little sweetheart. This is Café de Paris. This one is a little blown out, so you can see the center. But this is basically a spinoff of Café au lait. What you're getting is more twirly petals. You're definitely getting a stronger color coming through. And I have to say, I really, really like it. I feel like if you like Café au lait, but you feel like it's a bit too tame and muted, Café de Paris is for you. It is awesome. I mean, let's see if this one has any more color to it. Yeah, look at this. Look at this thing. It is so good. You get definitely more pink, you get buff, you get a lot of great tonality all the way through it. This one now is a staple for me. I just find it is so much more edgy than Café au lait, so I'm really, really digging on that. Now, for comparison, I actually have a Café right down here. So again, great twirly petals, but these petal formations, they just feel a bit more delicate. They feel a bit more buff colored. I feel like as I'm working with these Café au laits, I do have to be a bit more tender as I handle them versus the Café de Paris, which is just like strong, sturdy, and really, I don't feel like I have to take a lot of extra care with it. This next one is a Dahlia that I didn't think I was going to grow. I actually saw pictures of this on Florette's website. She's got a really great kind of catalog of images, and I didn't think I'd like this one. You guys, this is Breakout, and I freaking love it. I love it. I think it is a really interesting shape. It's really sturdy. It is another one of these plants that is just upright and mobile and doing its thing. It is really awesome. And I didn't think I'd like it because it had so much yellow showing in the center, but I'm a huge fan. Huge fan. And you've got a lot of range of color. So this is Breakout again. And then this one down here is also Breakout, although it's kind of like smothered down in there. It is a really big Dahlia. Definitely a dinner plate. Love it, love it, love it. Next on the list is another favorite. This is a water lily type. And I feel like these are ready for a moment in the sun. I'm definitely a ball dahlia type of girl. I love a dinner plate as well. I love a little palm, but a water lily. I've not found one that I'm particularly in love with, but Kelgai Ann is up there. In fact, I think this is my favorite water lily I have ever grown. It is a great shape. This was actually one of the very first dahlias to really pop in my dahlia patch, and I am obsessed with it. Great color, definitely more of a cool toned pink. So if you're a cool toned pink kind of gal or guy, let's be inclusive here. If you are a cool toned pink dahlia lover, this is one for you. And it's a great shape. It's a great form to mix into a lot of traditional styles and very unexpected. So This one was a very fun one, and it made the top of our must-grow list. Next on the list is Wynn's New Pastel, and this is almost like, I would say, Rock Run Ashley's big brother. Petals are slightly more spiky, and it seems like mine are coming out in a big cluster. Like, I'm not getting a lot of individual stem length. It may be how I am cutting them, so I'll play with that next year. But really, really pretty orange, very soft, not in your face, and definitely the biggest orange that I've got growing here. This one was another one that Brian and I were like, yep, she's a keeper. All right, now we come to our red patch, which is a little bit hit and miss for me here, but I'll deep dive in. First up is Rip City. Now, my Rip City is behaving really oddly. At the beginning of the season, they were huge, they were awesome, and now it's throwing these tinier buds. The other thing that is happening with my Rip City is right here. I'm getting this I'm getting this white margin that's going on here. And so again, I don't know if it's temperature changes, but Rip City used to be more like, gosh, let's see if I can find it. My Rip Cities used to be bigger like this, except the middle was a lot deeper of a red, but still this kind of magenta outer layer. But now, for whatever reason, it's introducing a lot more white. Brian actually is a huge fan of that change. He feels like it's an upgrade. I don't know if it's my favorite though. I'm gonna be totally honest. So I misspoke earlier. That orange was actually Sylvia. This is Cornell. In terms of a red ball, this is a really nice, good staple. However, I like my reds to be a little bit more burnt or a little bit more orangey or a bit more deep and saturated. So I don't think I'm gonna grow this one again next year. I never found myself reaching for it, but if you are a red person, this is a very good one, and I love a ball. Next up is a surprise dahlia. This one was actually supposed to be lilac bull, and it for sure is not lilac bull. This actually looks a bit more like Karma Chalk. In fact, if I was to choose a red, I would choose this one over Cornell any day of the week because the petals, I don't know if you can pick that up, but they are so much more velvety and interesting. So for me, this one was just like the clear winner in terms of depth of color, this velvety texture that we've got going on. This is my dahlia, red dahlia of choice. All right, next up we have Edinburgh. I actually kind of like this one. What does it for me is the fact that you've got this really, really deep center and this nice like kiss of baby pink on the edge. I would say it's just okay. I didn't find myself reaching for it. I like to do things like this. I like to stretch myself and kind of try to grow something that I wouldn't normally gravitate towards. But at the end of the day, I gotta be me. So this one may be on my donation list for next year. Friends, last but not least, this is Riverdance, and this one is a must grow for me. The form is insane. It's got like 8,000 outer petals. You've got this really ruffled interior that keeps changing as it blooms. And when it comes out like a very nice, strong red, not obnoxious, but just kind of like the perfect balance of red. As it ages, it takes on more and more of a coral tone. And I think this one for me, it ticks a lot of boxes. First of all, it's an interesting form. It's not a typical anemone where you have one row of outer petals. You've got a lot of depth here, probably like 3 or 4 rows. The other thing is the center for me is just where it's at. It is so interesting and so fluffy and frilly. The other thing that ticks the box for me, you don't see this everywhere. And so I just, you know me, I love having a little something different in my garden. Now there are still a couple dahlias in these rows that I'm between flushes on. And the ones that immediately stand out in my mind are Bloomquist York. I mean, if I'm gonna grow a red, that's gonna be on the list. I'm probably not gonna save a space for Cornell anymore because between Bloomquist and my Riverdance, I feel like the only thing I would really add would be a deep, almost black ball style dahlia. The other standout to me is terracotta. It's not blooming right now, but it has bloomed. It is massive. Like it is really, really big. And that one I felt like was another just superior standout in my collection this year. So I think that having been said, I'm going to start by plucking out my favorites first, and we are going to transplant them up to the veggie beds in the front of the house. And I expect them to freak out. I expect them not to be happy with me. I expect them to have a complete conniption fit, but it's what we got to do. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to start in with these first 2 rows. These are my east facing beds. And I'm starting here first because the guys are going to come in with the pathway. And I just want all of this cleared out because I think I just need to give them more working room. And this pathway is going in first. And then if I have time, I will hit up my west facing beds. But in the interim, I'm going to see how many I can squeeze into the front veggie beds. Okay, you guys, what are these? You know what it smells like? It smells like hazelnut, but they're really firm. Do I have any like mycologists? Do I have anybody out there who specializes in stuff like this? This is the second one I've found. That is so weird. And here's what the outside looks like. Yeah, and when I smell them, they smell like a sweet hazelnut or something like that. That is wild. Okay, I need to do some research. But if anybody out there can beat me to the chase, I would love to know what the heck these things are, because I found 2 so far. Also, if you see me pulling things out, roots out, it's from this birch tree. I think because these beds are so well irrigated, the roots are finding their way up and into my raised beds, which the birch tree and I have had a conversation about this. It needs to search for water elsewhere and not in with my veggies, but we'll see if it listens. Final note, I think I'm going to take out my holy basil and dry it this week, and we will just call it end of the season for my basil. All right, pausing for research. Is this a white truffle? Did I legitimately just find 2 white truffles in my raised garden bed? Like, I have no idea how they would have gotten here. Please clue me in, because I'm looking at this and it says the wild white truffle, particularly the highly prized Italian tuber magnatum, is often described as having a hazelnut-like nuance. Oh my gosh, is this a surprise? Okay, please, someone out there who knows anything about truffles. This is not my jam. You have a flower question, I'm your gal, but like a truffle question? I'm curious. I am very, very curious. All right, brief pause for status update, because You guys, I am running up and down this hillside that we live on with these dahlias, carrying 2 at a time. I'm gonna be out here until dark. So we're gonna pause and we're gonna do a little attitude of gratitude because you know what just happened? We just hit 20,000 subscribers and I am having a mixture of like disbelief and gratitude, and I kind of want to cry. And I just am like, how is it possible that 20,000 of you are along for the ride? And even more, because I went on the back end and like you can see your analytics and like who's subscribed, who's not subscribed. And there's a big chunk of you who have not subscribed who are still watching the channel. But I don't care because you're still watching. So thank you so very much. Okay. I think we should jump in to updates. I want to show you what I've purchased. This is also my homework. And I'm going to show you what's going on in the back. And then I'm going to get back to work. And I'm going to call out my boys because they need to help their mama run things up and down the hill. First and foremost, here we go. This is my new greenhouse floor. It is gorgeous. I am really digging on this. This is a new stone product. It's in their charcoal finish. The paper is called Manhattan. Oh no, you guys, starting to rain again. Okay, I'm gonna do a running bond pattern. So I did get some 12 by 24 pieces. And then down here, I have 24 by 24. I'm going with large format. I want clean, I want easy. I want to be able to sweep it out. I don't want anything fancy in the greenhouse. It needs to be functional and kind of bulletproof. So, new stone, Manhattan. Here we are also. Delivered so close to Giselle. Next update, the wall is finished. It's not even a wall, it's just like a row of pavers so that we can actually have this area level and not sloped towards our house. So obviously we have a little bit of gravel here. We need to bring in more. The plate compactor has arrived, but all of the caps are glued in place. So this little greenhouse floor is going to come together really, really quick. Welcome to the stairs of safety. I can't even begin to tell you how nice it is to walk down a set of stairs, and they're even and they're level and they are safe above all. What's kind of cool is they were able to fit a nice consistent width. Some of these areas we could have maybe fit like a 3-foot step, but I don't want to undermine any of these retaining walls because that's just like a can of worms. But this is perfect. And then what's really cool, let me show you up at the top. What they did at the top was they actually ran this step all the way across. And so what that does is it looks way more expansive, and also it will be a better transition when we go to set our gorgeous new pathway that will extend behind me. Okay, that's gonna leave it here for me today. Thank you so much for coming on another garden adventure. I have about like 25 more dahlias to dig and haul up the hill. So I gotta get going, but I'll see you in the next one. And in the meantime, say hello to your garden for me.